The Crux Dominion's flagship emerged from hyperspace with the practiced elegance of apex predators. Its crystalline hull caught the light of Earth's sun, refracting it into a dazzling display that had cowed countless civilizations before. Behind it, 30 warships formed a crescent that would have sent most primitive worlds scrambling to surrender. Admiral Sarah Chen watched the spectacle from her command chair aboard the ESS Nightshade, hidden beneath layers of quantum camouflage that had kept Earth's true defensive capabilities secret for the past century. Her dark eyes reflected the holographic display showing the alien fleet's positions, while her weathered hands remained relaxed on the armrests. Decades of maintaining humanity's greatest deception had taught her patience. They're broadcasting their standard first contact package. Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez reported from the communications station. Same message as always. Peaceful intentions, cultural exchange, offering protection from the dangerous elements of the galaxy. Her voice carried a hint of bitter amusement. Send it to the UN Security Council, Chen ordered, though she already knew their response. And get me a tactical analysis of their fleet composition. Commander David Okuffer's fingers danced across his console. 31 ships total. Their tech is exactly what our deep cover agents reported. Plasma-based weapons, standard shield configurations, no quantum sensing capabilities. They're completely blind to us. Chen nodded, remembering the day Earth's leaders had chosen this path. When the first Crux scout ships had appeared at the edge of the solar system decades ago, humanity had made the calculated decision to appear primitive. They'd hidden their quantum fleet, masked their advanced cities, and played the role of an emerging civilization taking its first steps into space. Meanwhile, they'd watched. They'd learned. They'd prepared. Admiral, Maya called out. Security Council's response just came in. We have authorization to proceed with protocol revelation. A thin smile crossed Chen's face. Send the signal to the rest of the fleet. It's time to show our visitors why Earth never needed their protection. Throughout the solar system, quantum fields began to dissolve. The ESS Nightshade, a sleek vessel of dark metal and advanced composites, materialized less than a kilometer from the Crux flagship. It was soon joined by dozens, then hundreds of Earth vessels, each emerging from their quantum shrouds like ghosts becoming solid. The Crux fleet's reaction was immediate and predictable. Their elegant formation scattered as ships tried to bring weapons online and establish defensive positions. Panic was evident in their erratic movements. They're trying to broadcast a message to their home systems, Maya reported. Should I block it? No, Chen replied, rising from her chair. Let them tell everyone what they see. Open a channel to their flagship. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the Crux Supreme Commander. The alien's crystalline features reflected a kaleidoscope of colors that humans had learned indicated extreme stress in their species. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Space Service, she announced, her voice carrying the weight of the century's preparation. I believe you came here offering protection to what you thought was a primitive world. Allow me to decline on behalf of humanity. The Crux Commander's crystalline form pulsed with rapid color changes. Impossible. Our intelligence, our surveys, were exactly what we wanted you to see, Chen finished for him. Humanity learned long ago that it's better to be underestimated. Your Dominion has a habit of offering protection to worlds that can't refuse. We made sure we could. As if to emphasize her point, the Nightshade's quantum sensors detected power spikes in several Crux vessels, attempts to bring weapons online. In response, targeting locks from 100 Earth ships painted the alien fleet. I wouldn't, Chen advised calmly. Your weapons are still powering up. Ours have been locked on since before you dropped out of hyperspace. The Crux Commander's colors settled into a more subdued pattern. What do you want? First, you're going to send a message to your superiors. Tell them Earth is not available for colonization, protection, or whatever euphemism the Dominion is using these days. Then, we're going to have a long discussion about redefining our relationship with the Crux Dominion and its allies. She paused, allowing her next words to carry full weight. You see, we've been watching your civilization for a very long time. We know about the worlds you've protected into submission. We know about the resources you've stripped from colonies too weak to resist. That ends today. The commander's crystalline form seemed to shrink. You cannot dictate terms to the entire Dominion. Actually, we can. Look at your tactical display. Really look at it. As the Crux commander processed the data, his colors shifted to what human xenologists recognized as profound shock. The Earth fleet hadn't just revealed itself around their position. Similar scenes were playing out at every major Crux military installation within 50 light-years. Quantum-cloaked Earth ships had been in position for years, waiting for this moment. Impossible, the commander whispered. No civilization could maintain such a deception. Humanity has had centuries to perfect the art of survival, Chen replied. We've watched civilizations like yours rise and fall. We've learned from each one, and we've prepared for the day when we'd need to reveal ourselves. She sat back in her command chair, her posture relaxed, but her eyes sharp. Now, shall we discuss the new terms of our relationship? I believe you'll find Earth's protection far more genuine than what the Dominion has been offering. The bridge fell silent as the Crux commander processed this paradigm shift. In that moment, the balance of power in this sector of the galaxy changed irreversibly. Humanity had maintained its masquerade for a century, playing the role of primitive newcomers to the galactic stage. But that mask had served its purpose. Now it was time for the galaxy to meet the real Earth. News of Earth's deception spread through the galactic community like a shockwave. Within days, the quantum communications network that humanity had secretly monitored for decades buzzed with panic, speculation, and outrage. Admiral Chen watched the diplomatic chaos unfold from the Nightshade Strategic Center, where holographic displays tracked thousands of diplomatic transmissions. The Artemisian Republic is demanding an emergency session of the Galactic Council, Commander Okafor reported, his dark features illuminated by the shifting data streams. They're particularly upset about our quantum technology. Apparently, they thought they were the most advanced civilization in that field. They were, Chen replied, a hint of pride in her voice. Until we surpassed them 50 years ago, while they thought we were still struggling with fusion drives. The strategic center's door slid open as Dr. Elena Santos entered, her silver-streaked hair pulled back tightly. As Earth's leading xenodiplomat, she had spent decades crafting humanity's revelation strategy. The Crux Dominion's inner council is fracturing, she announced, taking a seat at the conference table. 3 of their colony worlds have already reached out through back channels, seeking separate agreements with Earth. They're scared. They should be, Chen responded, bringing up a tactical display of known Crux military movements. Their entire strategy relied on being the biggest predator in the sector. Now they've discovered they've been swimming with a whale while thinking it was a minnow. A priority alert flashed across the main screen. Maya's voice came through the intercom. Admiral, we're detecting multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace near the Arcturus Gateway. Crux signatures, heavily armed. Chen's expression hardened. Looks like some elements of the Dominion want to test if our teeth are as sharp as we claim. How many ships? 65 vessels, including 3 of their dreadnoughts. They're broadcasting a demand for Earth to surrender its quantum technology and submit to Dominion oversight. Dr. Santos shook her head. They're desperate. This show of force is meant to save face with their allies more than actually intimidate us. Nevertheless, Chen replied, standing, we need to respond appropriately. Signal the Arcturus Defense Fleet to decloak. All ships except the perimeter guard. Let's show them exactly what they're dealing with. Throughout the Arcturus system, 200 Earth vessels shimmered into visibility. Unlike the diplomatic reveal over Earth, this unveiling was deliberately intimidating. The Earth ships appeared in attack formation, their quantum weapons already charged and targeting solutions plotted. They're coming to a stop, Maya reported. Their lead dreadnought is attempting to communicate. Put them through. The holographic display showed a different Crux commander, This one's crystalline form pulsing with aggressive red patterns. This is Supreme Warmaster Kex of the Dominion Fleet. Your deception ends today. Surrender your quantum technology, or we will take it by force. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Warmaster, I'm curious. Did you review the sensor logs from Earth before making this decision? Did you count how many ships we revealed? Did you notice their capabilities? Your tricks do not. Because if you had, Chen continued, her voice taking on an edge, you would realize that the fleet you're facing is just one small defensive formation. We have similar groups stationed throughout the galaxy. Your entire civilization has been living under our watch for generations. She leaned forward slightly, but perhaps you need a more practical demonstration. Commander Okafor, activate the quantum disruptors. Throughout the Crux fleet, ships suddenly lost power as their quantum fields collapsed. Emergency systems kicked in, but their advanced weapons, shields, and sensors remained dead. They had just discovered another of humanity's carefully hidden advantages, the ability to selectively disable quantum-based technology. What have you done? Kex demanded, his crystalline form now pulsing with fear patterns. Demonstrated restraint, Chen replied. We could have done this at any time over the past 50 years. We could have stripped your defenses and taken your worlds. Instead, we watched. We waited. We hoped your civilization would outgrow its predatory instincts. She straightened in her chair. This is your only warning, Warmaster. Return to your territory. Inform your leaders that the age of Dominion expansion is over. Earth is not your enemy, unless you choose to make us one. As the Crux fleet retreated in humiliation, Dr. Santos spoke softly. They'll try again. Perhaps not the Crux, but others. The quantum technology alone makes us too tempting a target. Let them try, Chen replied, watching the tactical display. Humanity spent centuries preparing for this moment. We hid our strength not out of fear, but because we needed time to become strong enough that no one would dare challenge us once we reveal ourselves. She turned to her senior staff. And now the real work begins. The galaxy's power structure is about to undergo a fundamental shift. Every civilization out there is reevaluating their position. Some will seek alliance, others will plot against us, and somewhere out there, the threat is still waiting, Dr. Santos finished. The real reason we advanced so quickly. Chen nodded grimly, which is why we can't afford to let these political games distract us. The Crux and their kind are just the surface ripples. The real storm is still coming. Above them, the quantum sensors continued their eternal vigil, searching for signs of the ancient enemy that had forced humanity to become what it now was, the hidden guardian of a galaxy that never knew it needed protection. The holographic war room aboard the ESS Nightshade painted a grim picture of the escalating crisis. Hundreds of fleet movements crisscrossed the three-dimensional stellar map as various alien civilizations repositioned their forces in response to Earth's revelation. But Admiral Chen's attention focused on a single blinking indicator near the Perseus arm. Confirm that signal, she ordered, her voice tight with concern. Commander Okafor's hands flew across his console. Confirmed, Admiral. The quantum wake patterns match what we've been watching for. They're coming. Dr. Santos stepped closer to the display, her face illuminated by the swirling stellar map. How long? At their current trajectory, 6 months, Chen replied. Much sooner than we anticipated. The Crux situation must have drawn their attention. The doors slid open as Captain James Harper of Earth Intelligence entered, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly. Then we need to accelerate the timetable. The Artemisian Republic has officially allied with the Crux Dominion. They're calling themselves the Concordat now, and they're rallying other civilizations to their banner. Chen nodded grimly. They think we're the threat. If they only knew what was really coming. Should we tell them? Dr. Santos asked. No, Harper interjected. Our deep cover agents report their leadership is too compromised. The enemy has been infiltrating their governments for decades. Any warning would only accelerate their plans. The main display shifted to show the Arcturus Gateway, humanity's most closely guarded technological achievement. What the galaxy saw as a simple hyperspace navigation point was actually part of a vast defense network, carefully constructed over centuries. Status of the Gateway, Chen asked. Final calibrations are complete, Okafor reported. If we need to activate the full network, we can do it within minutes. A priority alert flashed across the screens. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice came through crisp and urgent. Admiral, multiple hostile fleets just dropped out of hyperspace. They're attacking in coordinated waves. Crux, Artemision, and at least 3 other species we've identified as Concordat allies. Chen's expression hardened. Numbers. Over 300 capital ships in the first wave alone. They're targeting our revealed positions throughout the sector. Right on schedule, Chen murmured. They think they caught us off guard with overwhelming force. She straightened in her chair. Initiate protocol avalanche. All ships. Execute quantum fold maneuvers. Throughout the battlefield, Earth's ships performed what should have been impossible. Their quantum drives didn't just move them through space. They'd folded it, allowing vessels to seemingly teleport across vast distances instantly. The carefully orchestrated dance placed Earth's fleet in devastating crossfire positions. Enemy fleet responding with predictable confusion. Okafor reported with satisfaction. Their formation is breaking up. Now they'll see why we hid for so long, Chen said. All ships, initiate primary attack pattern. Show them what Earth's quantum weapons can really do. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Earth's ships struck with surgical precision, their quantum weapons bypassing conventional shields as if they weren't there. Entire enemy squadrons found themselves disabled without taking a single shot, their quantum fields collapsing under targeted disruption. But it wasn't a massacre. Every disabled ship received the same transmission. Surrender protocols and coordinates to safe harbor. Earth had spent centuries preparing not just to fight, but to save as many lives as possible when the real enemy arrived. Concordat fleet is in full retreat, Rodriguez announced after 2 hours of combat. We're receiving surrender signals from 60% of their disabled vessels. Begin rescue operations, Chen ordered. Priority to ships with critical damage. And get me a secure channel to the Artemision flagship, assuming they can still receive. The holographic display flickered to life, showing the battered bridge of the Artemision command ship. Admiral Lyra, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with distress patterns, stared back at Chen. Have you come to demand our surrender? Lyra asked bitterly. No, Chen replied. I've come to show you something. Something that explains why Earth has done everything it has. She nodded to Harper, who transmitted a data package to the Artemision vessel. As Lyra reviewed the data, her bioluminescence shifted to patterns indicating deep shock. This can't be real. The quantum wake signatures are real. The enemy we've been preparing to fight for centuries is approaching faster than we anticipated. Your attack forced us to reveal capabilities we wanted to keep hidden until they arrived. Chen leaned forward. We don't want your surrender, Admiral. We want your help. Earth didn't advance in secret because we wanted to rule the galaxy. We did it because someone had to be ready when they returned. The Artemision Admiral's patterns shifted to a questioning mode. Why should we believe you? Because in the next 6 months, you'll see the proof yourself. The question is whether you'll be ready to stand with us when it arrives. Chen's voice softened slightly. We can help you prepare, upgrade your defenses with our quantum technology. But you have to make a choice now. Continue fighting the wrong enemy, or join us in facing the real threat. As the implications sank in, alerts began flashing across the tactical display. More quantum wake signatures appearing throughout the sector. The enemy was accelerating its approach. They were running out of time. The quantum sensors aboard Earth's defense platforms registered the distortion wave before anyone saw it coming. A ripple in space-time that spread across the Perseus arm, distorting light and matter in its wake. Admiral Chen stood in the ESS Nightshade's observation dome, watching as the stars themselves seemed to shiver. "They're trying to disable the quantum network," Dr. Santos observed, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Just like they did before." "Before we were ready," Chen corrected. "Before we understood what we were facing." She turned to face the assembled leaders of the newly formed alliance, representatives from Earth, the Artemisian Republic, and even several former Crux colonies. "Show them the historical record." Harper activated the holographic display, and the dome filled with images that had haunted humanity's nightmares for centuries. The fall of the previous galactic civilization, recorded by automated beacons that had drifted through space for millennia before Earth found them. Admiral Lyra's bioluminescence pulsed with horror patterns as she watched the ancient footage. "These are the beings you've been preparing to fight. The ones you called the enemy. We call them the Void Hunters," Chen explained. "A species that evolved in the space between galaxies. They don't just consume resources, they feed on the quantum potential of entire civilizations. When they're done, they leave behind worlds where the laws of physics themselves have been fundamentally altered." Commander Okafor's voice came through the comm system. "Admiral, the distortion wave is approaching the outer defense grid. Enemy vessels detected. Configuration matches the ancient records." The tactical display shifted to show massive organic mechanical hybrid chips, each one larger than Earth's biggest vessels. They moved through space in ways that defied conventional physics, leaving trails of distorted reality in their wake. "That's why we developed our technology in secret," Harper explained to the assembled allies. "Why we spent centuries building the quantum network while pretending to be primitive. The Void Hunters can sense advanced quantum manipulation. If we'd revealed ourselves too soon, they would have come before we were ready." "And now?" Lyra asked. Chen's smile was grim. "Now we show them why Earth spent 300 years preparing for this moment. Activate the Arcturus protocol." Throughout the sector, hidden quantum nodes came online. The defense network that humanity had painstakingly constructed revealed its true purpose, not just as a weapon, but as a shield for reality itself. "Multiple Void Hunter vessels approaching," Okafor reported. They're trying to communicate." "Put them through," Chen ordered. The holographic display filled with an image that taxed the translation software to its limits. The Void Hunter's form shifted between states of matter, its voice coming through as much in quantum fluctuations as in actual sound. "Your resistance is noted," it said in multiple voices simultaneously. "Your understanding of quantum mechanics is impressive, but ultimately futile. We have consumed countless civilizations more advanced than yours." "You've consumed civilizations that stood alone," Chen corrected. "That's why we spent centuries building alliances, even with those who didn't know they were our allies. Humanity learned from your previous harvests. We understood that the only way to defeat you was to unite the quantum potential of multiple species." She nodded to Dr. Santos, who activated a sequence they had hoped wouldn't be necessary for another decade. Throughout Alliance space, quantum harmonizers came online, synchronizing the defensive efforts of dozens of civilizations. "Impossible," the Void Hunters' voices rasped. "The quantum signatures, they're reinforcing each other." "Exactly," Chen replied. "Every species you've consumed had their own unique quantum frequency. Alone, they couldn't resist your feeding. But together, synchronized through our network." She turned to her allies. "Now." The combined fleets of the Alliance opened fire, their weapons synchronized through Earth's quantum network. The Void Hunters' reality-distorting shields, previously thought impenetrable, buckled under the harmonized assault. But victory wouldn't come easily. The Void Hunters' counterattack warped space itself, threatening to tear apart the fabric of reality in this sector of space. Emergency alerts blared throughout the fleet as ships struggled to maintain their quantum field integrity. "Hull breaches on decks 5 through 8, Rodriguez reported. "The quantum harmonics are holding, but barely. We can't maintain this level of synchronization for long." Chen watched as both sides took heavy losses. The price of victory would be steep, but they had known that from the beginning. That's why humanity had spent centuries preparing not just weapons, but ways to rebuild. All ships, she commanded, her voice carrying to every vessel in the Alliance fleet. Execute Protocol Omega. Let's show them why you don't threaten humanity's galaxy. The battle that followed would reshape the understanding of warfare itself. But more importantly, it would prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its advanced technology or careful planning. It was the ability to unite others against a common threat, even if those others never knew they were being protected until the moment of crisis. The battle for reality itself entered its third day. The void between stars had become a graveyard of broken ships and shattered dreams, but humanity and its allies fought on. Admiral Chen hadn't left the Nightshade's command center since the battle began, her uniform wrinkled and her eyes red from exhaustion. "Status of the quantum harmonics?" she asked, her voice hoarse. "Holding at 63%, Commander Okafor replied. "The Artemisian fleet has adapted their technology remarkably well to our synchronization protocols. Even some of the former Crux ships are contributing to the network now." Dr. Santos studied the tactical display, where the remaining Void Hunters twisted space itself in their desperate attempts to break through the Alliance's defensive lines. "They're getting desperate. Our combined quantum frequencies are actually pushing them back into normal space. They can't maintain their trans-dimensional state, which makes them vulnerable," Harper added, his cybernetic eye glowing as he processed combat data. "But we're running out of time. The quantum wake distortions are starting to affect planetary systems." Chen nodded grimly. This was the moment humanity had prepared for over centuries. Initiate final protocol. All ships, execute quantum convergence. Throughout the battlefield, Earth's vessels began a carefully choreographed dance of position and energy. The quantum network that had been their greatest defense now became something more, a weapon built not to destroy, but to preserve. "Admiral," Lieutenant Rodriguez called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the lead Void Hunter vessel. They're requesting parley." "Put them through." The holographic display showed multiple Void Hunters now, their forms more stable than before as Earth's quantum field forced them to maintain consistent states of matter. "You have exceeded parameters," their overlapping voices announced. This resistance was not predicted. These adaptations were not foreseen. "Because you didn't understand what you were really facing," Chen replied, standing despite her exhaustion. "You thought humanity spent centuries advancing our technology just to protect ourselves. You were wrong. We did it to protect everyone." She gestured to the Alliance fleet surrounding them. "Look around you. Every species you've encountered before stood alone, developed their quantum technology in isolation. We showed them a different way. Unity. Cooperation. Shared strength. Irrelevant," the Void Hunters insisted. "We have consumed galaxies. We have fed on the quantum potential of 1,000 civilizations. We cannot be stopped. You already have been." Chen nodded to Dr. Santos, who activated the final phase of humanity's centuries-long plan. "We didn't just build weapons or shields. We transformed the very quantum fabric of this galaxy. Every star, every planet, every atom is now part of our network. And we're offering you a choice." The tactical display showed the effects of their work, a cascading wave of quantum harmonization spreading through the sector, stabilizing reality itself against the Void Hunter's influence. "You can leave," Chen continued. "Find another galaxy, one that hasn't been prepared for you. Or you can stay, but only if you're willing to exist in harmony with normal spacetime. We've created quantum frequencies that could sustain you without the need to feed on other civilizations. You would offer terms. To us." The Void Hunters' voices carried genuine surprise. "Because that's what humanity does." Dr. Santos stepped forward. "We protect. We preserve. And when possible, we offer a better way." The battle hung in balance as the Void Hunters considered the ultimatum. Around them, the combined fleet maintained their position, quantum weapons ready but not firing. This was the moment that would determine not just the fate of humanity, but the future of an entire galaxy. Finally, the Void Hunters spoke again, this time in a single unified voice. Your solution is elegant, unexpected. We have never encountered species who planned on such timescales, who built not just for victory, but for preservation. One by one, the massive Void Hunter vessels began powering down their reality distortion fields, accepting the stabilizing frequencies offered by Earth's network. Let this be remembered, Admiral Chen announced, broadcasting to all ships in the Alliance fleet, not as the day humanity revealed its strength, but as the day the galaxy truly united. Every civilization represented here today contributed to this victory, and together we'll build something greater than any of us could have achieved alone. As the crisis subsided and the work of reconstruction began, Chen looked out at the stars, stars that would now shine on a galaxy forever changed. Humanity had hidden its true nature for centuries, building in secret, preparing for this moment. But their greatest achievement wasn't the technology they'd developed or the battles they'd won. It was the legacy they created. A galaxy where different species could stand together against any threat, where advancement didn't have to mean destruction, and where even ancient enemies could find a path to coexistence. The deception was over. The truth was revealed, and the future was bright with possibilities. Send word to Earth, Chen ordered softly. Tell them it's done. Tell them they can finally step into the light. Around the nightshade, ships from a dozen species began the work of rebuilding, their quantum frequencies harmonizing in ways that would have seemed impossible just days before. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, as if celebrating the dawn of a new era. Humanity had revealed its edge, but in doing so, they had given the galaxy something far more valuable than weapons or technology. They had given it hope.